Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Bernie O'Rourke, and we're really pleased to have you all here tonight. If you could please make sure or put a yes in the chat box if you can hear me. That would really be great. Awesome, perfect. Great to hear you and have you guys tonight. So we're just kind of tidying things up here, and we'll get going here shortly. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Bernie O'Rourke, and we're going to get started with our evening presentation. um, my my job here at UW-Madison is the Extension Youth Livestock Specialist. And so tonight, here monthly, actually, over the years or this past year, we have been providing virtual learning opportunities for you all to learn more about your animal science projects. So tonight we're going to talk about the use of technology in your animal science projects and how that kind of actually relates to what you do each and every day by playing games or activating in school, all those types of venues. So tonight, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A portion of the program. So on your screen, you should be able to see basically be able to see a Q&A section. And if you can go ahead and put your questions in there, that would be great. Tonight, we are learning about the use of technology. And in May, if you're interested, on May 13th, we'll be talking about marketing your livestock project. And that will be the last session for the spring for this year. So register at the link provided. And we would appreciate you kind of helping us round out the spring sessions. So sorry for the noise. We are in the Dairy Cattle Center here at UW-Madison, and you'll see that we're finishing up milking dairy cows and putting everybody away for the night. So you'll get to see some of that action behind the scenes. So one other thing in terms of housekeeping, make sure you've got your verification form. You would have received the link to that. In the email that you were sent earlier today. So please go ahead and have that printed off. You were given instructions to have it printed off and ready. So hopefully you have done that. There are other ways that you can be in touch with what we're doing in the Youth Livestock Program and how it relates to the Animal and Dairy Sciences Department. We would love for you to learn more about what we're doing, and then also, of course, look to us or other animal science departments that have an interest in you in furthering your career. We would love for you to check out UW-Madison and be a student with us. We will talk about careers a little later tonight. Also, please fill out the evaluation. I'll put it here in the chat box, and you'll get an email about it later today. But please fill that out. It helps us be able to determine what things are interesting you and what things you would want to see more of. Okay, so go ahead and put those Q&A questions in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we're going to get started. So give us a little time. We're going to get us through move things through here, and I will just put a second to put that survey in the chat box. And you can go to that when you get your email tonight. Okay, so I'm gonna turn or take this off, and I guess if you wanna, got the camera ready there, Emily? All right. So we're gonna turn the camera to our speakers tonight. So again, my name is Bernie O'Rourke. I'm the Extension Youth Livestock Specialist, and I'm gonna pass the mic. We've got Dr. Guy, is that what we're going with tonight? And then Dr. JD are here tonight who do a lot of research in this area of technology and animals. We do this in dairy cattle, all the way to beef cattle, to swine. We're doing it in a lot of different areas. And so they're going to explain this, what we do here, and how this can impact your project animal. Many of you know a lot about ultrasound. You've been doing that with your projects over a number of years. And many of you also have carcass shows. So some of what these guys do is what they do is capture that composition of animals by using cameras. And so they're going to show what they do tonight on all those neat things. So I'm going to pass this over to Guilherme.
Yes, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. We're very interested to share with you what we do here in terms of application of technology and computer science and data analysis in animal science. Let me open up my PowerPoint here so we start the discussion. And I'll pass to Joao so he introduces himself.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and show a little bit what we're doing with cameras and artificial intelligence for dairy, for beef and swine. So a lot of you will connect with the video games. Some of the cameras that we use are cameras from video games. And I hope you guys enjoy what we'll be showing today. Okay, thank you.
Very good. So let's start here. So today we are going to talk about artificial intelligence in animal science. Again, Mr. Gui, myself, and Dr. J.D. Joao Dorea is going to be next. So because we are talking about artificial intelligence, I want to ask you to think about what is intelligence. Think about the definition of intelligence. When we say intelligence, probably some of these smart people, smart scientists, musicians, sociologists come to mind, right? Yeah, they were very smart people for sure. But what is the definition? What is the definition of intelligence? So here you have a short, we have a quick definition. So intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. So let's think about this. Every day, every time you use intelligence, imagine, for example, I'll just give an example here. You want to cross the street. So what do? You search for cars, you look around, you try to hear. If there are cars coming, you need to assess their speed, and then you know how fast you walk or how fast you run. Or waiting for some time. So you use in your decisions senses like hearing, taste, smelling. I'm going to remove the mask because, okay. So smell, sight, hearing, touch, taste. So you have all this signal that comes to you using sensors, natural sensors like eye, your nose, your tongue, and then this signal goes to the brain, you process, and then you take a decision, right? So today, we are going to focus the discussion on computer vision. It's one application of artificial intelligence. We use machine learning algorithms. We teach the computers to do something that we want, and it's in the area of vision, computer vision. So vision, we have our eyes that are going to capture light. So let's say you are searching for your dog. So you have light reflecting on objects, and this light comes to your eye, and the signal goes to the brain. So all this light, the signal that comes to you, you need to process, and you are searching for your dog in many places until you find the dog. And you say, okay, this is the dog. So we are going to do the same thing with computers. So that's a computer vision. So instead of eye, we are going to have cameras. And instead of the brain, we have now, actually, I need to write here the computers, okay? So, but the camera is going to get the signal, the light signal, and then the computer is going to process. So you have different images coming to the computer, and the computer is going to, in this case, for example, search for a dog in an image. So the images, they are basically a matrix with little squares that we call pixels, and each pixel in one of the cameras, like the RGB cameras, we are going to have three lights, three colors, the green, the red, and blue, that are primary colors that you can mix to make any other color. So each pixel will tell you how much green, how much red, and how much blue you have. Okay, so that's how you have an image that goes to the computer now, and you are going to process. So let's see some applications in animal science. So we are here in a barn, and you are going to see some images later. So farmers, they take very good care of animals. They need to feed the animals, make sure the animals are healthy, decide when it's a good time to breed, and keep animals happy and feeling good, so well-being. So they need to be looking at the animals, see if they are comfortable,
if there is no secretion in the nose, if they are eating well, and so forth. So need to look, need to listen, and keep an eye on them. So we are going to do all this with computers now. So let me show you some applications here. A first one, imagine these 5 calves. So you need to identify who's who. So you have 5 animals here. Each one has your number or name. So I want to teach the computer who's who, and the computer is going to keep track of these animals. And then we want also to classify or tell if the animal is walking or standing, lying, drinking, or eating, because this is very important. We want to make sure that the animals are eating enough, they have water, and they are standing and playing, and also resting. Okay, so we want to monitor how long they do every day each of these activities. So how we do this? We need first to teach the computer. So this is what we call machine learning. So we have many pictures, and then you teach where the animals are. So you mark in each image, in a set of images, you tell where the animals are, who is who. You tell the computer, this is animal, this is the little calf John, this is the little calf Mark, and so forth. And then you teach also, you tell the computer what is when the animal is standing or drinking water, and so forth. So here, for example, you have the feed buckets, and here's the water. So we are going to see the animals visiting these two places. So here the 5 calves, and we are using different colors to show each of these 5 animals. Okay, so the calf 1 to calf 5, and the colors. So let me show you. So now it's easy. They are still lying, so you know who's who. But as they stand up, the computer needs to keep track of them and recognize, for example, the coat color. See? So it's automatically, so we know which calf is which. And now we are going to classify, so the same image, we're going to classify the behavior. So again, everybody's blue here, everybody's lying, but they are going to stand up, and they are going to visit the feed and the water, and so forth. So the computer is accumulating this information and saying how long each animal rests, and how many times they visit to the feed bank and the water, and so forth. So using this, you know if the animals are growing well, if they are eating well, if they are resting, if they are feeling good. Now I'm going to pass the microphone to JD. He's going to talk about another kind of cameras, and this is what we call the 3D, the 3-dimensional cameras. Oh, before João comes here, let me show you the cameras that we use, like for the 5 calves. Let me show you the camera and also show the image of this camera. So this is the camera. Just a second. We are going to show you here the kind of camera that I just mentioned to you. And this is very similar to the cameras that you have. These are very similar to the cameras that you have like in your cell phone, or the cameras that you take pictures. And then can you show the image from this camera, João? No? No, later maybe. Okay.
You want to show the cow? Can I turn the video on? Say it's going to.
So for this camera that we saw there, it's looking at this cows. So the same way we were monitoring the calves with the videos that I showed you, we have many cameras in this barn just monitoring all these cows. Okay. So now Joao is gonna show you applications using the 3D camera.
Okay, here's Joao, JD, whatever is easier for you. So I work with artificial intelligence as well, applying this to animal science. And as Guilherme mentioned, Mr. Gay mentioned, I will talk about the use of something that is very familiar. I'm sure you have seen some of those images or some of those video games, or maybe you have one of them. And if you have one of those video games, you probably saw that you can play games, that you can dance, you can jump, and then you can score points, and then you're gonna have a camera tracking what are you doing. I mean, the activity that you are performing in front of the TV, right? So the camera that comes in those video games, okay, they're not simple cameras. They are cameras that can track not only your body, the body motion, but they can calculate and they can compute volume of your body. Okay, so those are 3D cameras. So if you heard about Xbox, and you probably saw that was actually, this is the first camera that came in the Xbox, in the video game. That camera allow you to play the game like playing tennis or any other sports that you could use in the video game, and then that camera can track your body activity, and then you can have fun using the combo, the game plus the camera. Okay, so this camera that can track body motion and also can measure the shape of your body and can get the volume of your body are the same cameras that we are using to track the body shape and the body volume of animals, of dairy cows, beef and swine and so on, okay? And those cameras, they are getting better, they are getting smaller, and they getting cheaper as well, okay? And that is why we are using these more and more. That's the second version of the camera that comes with the Xbox, and that's the latest version of those cameras, okay? So let me show you inside of one of those cameras, okay? This camera, this video game camera now, look how powerful this is. It comes with 7 microphones, okay? And you have 2 types of cameras in this device. You have the regular camera, the one you have in your phone, the one you know that you take pictures, right? The color one, the one that Mr. Guy just showed you. And you also have a 3D camera, the one that I mentioned about the 3D shape that can map volume and get the 3D objects in the scene, okay? And on top of the camera and the 7 microphones, you also have accelerometer and gyroscope. And those 2 sensors, they measure motion. You can capture motion using them. So if you want to put that camera in a robot, for example, you can, and you can have a sense of vision, right, with the cameras. You can capture sound with the microphone, and also you can have the motion sense as well, because you have accelerometer and gyroscope. Okay, excellent. So what we are doing with those cameras, we are using them to map body shape of cows. Okay, and the quality and the resolution of those cameras are getting higher and higher, so we can see small changes in body shape with more details as we advance with that type of technology. Okay, excellent. So look this, how amazing that is. Okay, so I have a camera that is positioned in a top-down view. Okay, when I say top-down view, is the camera on the top looking down to the back of the cow. Okay, so we have some calves, and we have this top-down view in the left image, and in the computer I can turn the image. I will show this. I will demo. I have a camera here, so I will show you a live cow with the 3D view. So you can turn that image, and as you turn and you rotate the image in the computer, this 3D image, you can have different perspective of the body of the cow or the body of the cat. Okay, so you can see the volume, or you can see the back of this animal projecting down. and that's how we calculate the body condition score or the body volume or some characteristics which we call biometrics. And the biometrics is all this set of length, height, volume. We can collect all of those things using those cameras. Okay, so by monitoring calves with cameras like that, okay, we can track how is the growth development. Or by using those cameras with cows, dairy cows, we can measure body conditioning score, for example. Okay, excellent. So by having this projection here, this 3D projection using those cameras, we can calculate, as I mentioned, height, and not only one single height, but we can measure height in different parts of the animal body, and we can calculate width and length and other biometric features. That's what we call those measurements, okay? Excellent. So how we do that on the farm? Okay? Usually we measure, we compute, we take notes of body conditioning score, and this is visually. This is in the visual way. So you look at a cow in the back, and then if the cow is super thin, you're gonna assign a body conditioning score with a small number like 1, and then if the cow is super fat, you're gonna assign a body conditioning score of 5. If the cow is in the middle, you're gonna have a body conditioning score of 3. So we wanna track the body conditioning score for those animals, because if the cow is super fat, there is a high chance this cow is gonna get sick. Okay? If the cow is super thin, there is also a high chance of a metabolic problem. Okay, so we don't want a cow in those extremes, so we want to monitor how the cow is doing in terms of body condition. Okay, so imagine now that you have a lot of things to do at the farm every day, and you still need to look every single cow and take a body condition score measurement and take note of these and keep track and actually use this information. Okay, so what we're trying to do, we're trying to use a camera that is fixed in a specific position at the farm. And then every cow that is passing through under that camera, will have a snapshot, you're gonna have an image, a 3D image of that animal, and you'll be able to compute the body condition, calculate the body condition score, and calculate the body disappearance, tissue disappearance, okay? So look this. I have these 3 images, okay? Same cow, 3 different time points. So imagine here, time point, day 1, day 5, and day 10. Okay, imagine something like this. This is the image that is coming out of the 3D camera. So I can project this in the computer and I can get a 3D shape, I can get a volume of the body of that cow. Okay, so what happened if I subtract the image in the day 1, okay, from the image in the day 10, okay? Let's say this is day 1, day 5, day 10. So if I do this, look that. If I subtract the image of the same cow from day 1 and day 10, you will see where the part of the body that disappeared, the tissue that disappeared, okay? So here in purple in the center, you have the day 10 body shape, and in yellow, you have the day 1. So if you subtract then, the difference is the amount of body tissue that disappeared of the cow, okay? So now I will ask a question, quick question. If I have image 1 and image 3, tell me if you can see this difference, okay? If you can, maybe you can put in the chat, right? Well, but it's extremely difficult. I mean, it's almost impossible for you to compute that small difference between the same cow. And that's why we are using that technology. That's not only to compute body condition score, because the score will be kind of similar, right? Maybe this cow is 3, maybe this cow is 3, but the amount of tissue in the body of the cow that is disappearing, the camera can compute that very precise, okay? So that's how we are using this technology specifically. Let's play a game now. Let's change from body condition score and let's play off identification, okay? So I have 4 calves, okay? And I'll ask you to memorize which one is calf A, which one is calf B, which one is calf C, which one is calf D. Okay, memorize, okay? 1, 2, 3, 5 seconds. How much time do you need? Now tell me which one is which. I just mix them. Are you able to tell me which one is which? And probably not. This is also a very difficult task. when you have images or animals that are super similar as we have here, okay? Imagine now that you have hundreds of them, dozens of them. So this is even hard to keep track and to memorize animals that have the same color pattern and there is no black and white as we have in hosting animals. So that's almost impossible for you to recognize every single animal if you do not have an ear tag or any source of identification. But what we are doing now, let's come back to the kinetic, which is the name of the camera, the Xbox camera. This camera can give you the 3D shape, as I mentioned. We can get the 3D shape of the face of the animal. And now we are able to identify animals based on the face, I mean, with face recognition, but not using the color in the image, but using the shape of the image of the face. And then we can identify different animals with that look very similar, okay? Excellent. And lastly, I want to show you those cameras, they come with a body tracking, okay? They can draw a skeleton on your body and they can track the motion of your arms and legs and so on. We are using also, and other researchers are using, they're using those cameras to build the same body tracking in cows, okay? And why that? Because if a cow presents a problem, for example, in the leg, and there is any locomotion pattern or change that we can see, this will alter the way the cow is moving. And by having these red lines, which is the skeleton of the cow, changing the pattern of the motion, we can capture the locomotion problem, okay? So all of this is to avoid and to prevent the animal to get sick. So we can anticipate a problem that will happen in the future, right? And with this, we can take better care of those animals, okay? So now I will share my screen and I will show you a view of one of these 3D cameras. So maybe you wanna record here and I can show them some of the cameras and then share my screen. What about this?
So you want to show?
Yep, very good. So I just show you this, right? So this is the first kinetic camera. This came in, sorry, yeah. Okay, thank you. This came in the Xbox in the video game. So usually we're playing in front of those cameras. And then this was reducing for a size like this. That's a very powerful camera. It's a 3D camera. And then now we have something like that size. Okay, look. Super, super small. We have regular cameras and we have a 3D camera here. Okay, all together in this device. There is no power. You plug directly in the computer. And now I will show you the view that this small device can give you. Okay? So let's share the screen now. Okay. Is that good? Excellent. So here you can see position in this cow. Very good. In the left side, at least in my left, I don't know if that's in your left, but you can see a colorful image. This colorful image is a 3D image, okay? And the black and white image is an infrared image. So if you turn the lights off here, you can still see that image. So that's what you probably saw before as a night vision image. The colorful one is the depth. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but if you put the mouse here and point in a specific location, the cow, we have down on the image, maybe you won't be able to see this, but here, around here, you're gonna see the distance from the camera to the object, in this case, the cow. So if I put the mouse here, it's showing 1 meter. That's the distance from the camera to the object. So here, we can map the whole body of this cow, okay? So you can see the cow is eating, okay? The feed. You can see the curvature of the cow, the bones, okay? You can see everything. If I change this for 3D view, it's even nice now. So here we have a reconstruction of the 3D scene. Okay, we have some noise, as you can see, but in general, you can see the shape of the cow as well. So we have two ways to see this. Let me come back to the 2D, the depth image. Yes. Yes, very good. Thank you. Okay, so this is the interface we're using in our computer to collect those 3D image. And for application standpoint, we have that camera fixed in a location of the farm and collecting images every day of those cows. Okay, so now I will ask Guilherme, can we do this with swine, with beef cattle? So Guilherme will show some slides and share some slides showing the same application for body weight and growth development in pigs and beef cattle. Okay. Let's stop sharing.
Very good. So we saw applications of this 3D camera or 3D technology in dairy. We are using also in beef cattle. We are using in pigs, even in fish, okay, to monitor, for example, growth. You monitor growth like pigs. If you have tried to weigh pigs, you know how hard it is because they don't like, and they scream and they run. So it's stressful for the animals. So how can you know if the animal is growing if you cannot weigh every day or at least frequently, okay? So I'm showing here people trying to use scales, different kinds of scales to get the body weight of the pigs, and how we do now using a 3D camera. Whenever the animal goes underneath the camera, we get an assessment of the size of this animal, volume, the height, width, and so forth. And then we have algorithms, mathematical equations that give the estimated body weight of this animal. Okay, so just showing an example here. So I'm gonna play this video. So it's exactly the image like we showed you with the cow. And let me play this. Oops. I need to remove the pointer just a second. Okay, so the pig comes under the camera, and the computer waits until you get a good picture. That would be a picture where the animal is not, it's straight, not touching the wall. So whenever you get a good picture, that's when the computer saves this picture. And then you have also another step that we call segmentation. So the computer classifies each pixel, if it's the pig or if it's the background, and then use this information to come up with the reconstruction of the body, like we have here, the volume, the height, and so forth. So by training the computer, so if you have a set of animals that you take pictures and also bring to the scale, then you train the computer, again, using machine learning algorithms, so that in the future, pigs that come under the camera, you capture image and you get a prediction of the body weight. Okay? So that's what we want to share with you, things that we do in animal and dairy science using these technologies. So if you are interested, if you like animals, if this is something that you wanna study in the future, so if you like biology and you want to combine biology with math and computer science, So, and technology. So this is a very exciting area to be and to work on because again, biology, math, computer science, and technology. And then in biology, in terms of animal science, you are going to apply these technologies for nutrition, for example, precision nutrition. You want to know exactly how much you're going to feed the animal and what kind of diet, depending on which stage of the growth this animal is. Like Joao showed you, monitoring the cow so they don't lose and then don't put too much weight. And then you have reproduction, well-being, welfare, and genetics. So many different applications in animal sciences that you can make using this kind of technology. Okay. So now that's the slides we want to share with you, and we are open for questions now, right, Bernie?
All right, thank you guys. I'm gonna stop the share and we're gonna open it up for questions. I've got some Q&A here and I will go through them. I just need to get to the right screen. You can go ahead and turn the video on if you want. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. One question is this technology currently being used on any commercial operations, or is this just research right now? Which one of you would like to? Dr. JD.
Well, this is technology. It's very new technology. Many groups doing research on this, but there are already some companies using this as well. Many startups, like early stage companies, bringing this to the field, and some other larger companies also with this. It's not something that you are going to find easily in many farms because, again, it's very new technology, but it's coming and it's going to help a lot farmers in different applications.
Oh yes, I agree with Guilherme. I think it's very new technology. A lot of startups work in the space now. What you saw, it's research here, but some of the research we are developing, we do that in collaboration with commercial farms. So we are always happy to collaborate and implement and brainstorm and see what the challenges are in order to make sure the technology will be well adopted and will work well at the commercial farm level.
Any other?
Yeah. Just trying to scroll here. There's so many questions. So, okay. One question was, how many cameras do you use per cow when you do like maybe larger animals versus smaller animals? Is there any like different positions that you would put the cameras?
Yeah. Let's divide this into Guilherme's presentation and my presentation. So the number of camera he used for tracking is one, and then I answer the 3D one.
Yeah, so depending on the application, you need different technologies and different numbers and positions of cameras. For example, for the pigs or in beef cattle, to monitor body weight, the strategy is to have cameras on places that you know that animals are coming, sometimes multiple times per day. For example, the water source. And then you have a camera and the animal comes to drink water and you get the pictures. So how many cameras you need depend also the size of the operation. Like if you have pens, like let's say a feed yard. So you have pens and you are going to need at least one camera per pen, right? But now if you come and visit the barn, the dairy barn here, there are many cameras that Joao uses there.
Yeah, so the camera Guilherme showed you for tracking, I think he pointed to the up here and showed the camera. We have he mentioned we have here we have 12, and the other research farm we have 40 RGB cameras. These regular cameras. But the 3D cameras, as he mentioned, we need to be in a fixed location. So at Arlington, in our research farm there, we have 4 cameras that are able to track 500 cows. So the small camera that I showed you, we have only 4 of those, and we track about 500 cows. But the camera for behavior, we needed a several of them.
Okay, so there's some more questions back on the technology. You know, how long has it been developed? So I think you guys talked about how this technology has been used in video gaming and such for probably a while, right? So when did we start moving it into use in animals? Can you talk about that, or maybe where that research started and how many years? Is it something new within the last 10 years or longer?
It is short. I cannot, I mean, we've been using this for maybe 3 or 4 years, the 3D cameras, right?
Yeah.
And there is not much before that, because that's it.
Yeah.
And also the camera is getting better. Now you can do some things that we can't before with the earlier technologies for the 3D cameras.
Yeah, and the reason that it's going now to the field is going quicker. They look this. That's what is the first 3D camera people started playing more and taking out of the video games. They started developing more applications, but you need a power supply, right? You need to hook this in the computer. So, and that camera that was coming in the video game changed for something like this, okay? So this camera, it doesn't need power supply. You plug the USB and the power comes through the USB. So now, it's cheaper, it's smaller, and consequently, it's easier to implement this in applications in the real life. So whether it's drones or small robots, and so it's getting better. But this is like last year, 2 years ago camera, so it's still very recent. And one thing that actually it speed up the process now, it's the analysis of those images in the past require a lot of computational work. And some of the models, the algorithms that we use, the deep learning algorithms, are getting better and getting recent publications right, every year. So this is helping a lot the implementation, not only the device, but what do we do with the data that is come out of the device. So, but it's recent. It's like last 2 or 3 years, I guess, the boom of in animal science.
There's another great question. It's around, you talked about body condition score and such, but can these cameras, you were talking a little bit about health and maybe lameness and movement, but can these cameras like measure body heat? So can they determine if an animal has a temperature or other health factors are at play? And then also maybe with that, do you use these cameras with sheep? Now, does wool inhibit the camera at all?
Yes. So we do not have a lot of data, and the data that we have published with temperature. Let me start again. We have cameras called infrared thermal cameras. So those cameras, they can capture temperature of objects in the scene. Okay. So the data that we have that correlates the temperature of the image that camera is giving you with the body core temperature, the data is not good. The correlation is not high. And the methods that are used to measure the temperature, the analytical methods, that are also not great. So there is a little bit of combination of the device. Maybe it's not giving you what you need. You have an environment effect in the object in terms of temperature, but also the method of analyzing the image is probably not the optimal. So among RGB, the regular camera, the 3D camera, and the temperature, the fierce amount of paper, we have less papers are on the temperature imaging. So we still need a lot of data. I believe we can possibly use those infrared cameras to measure temperature, but I think it requires more research, okay?
One comment, we have a project that we just started. You mentioned sheep. So we have there is this Camacho score that you look at the color of in the eye to see if there is any anemia or a problem with worms. So we are developing now a computer vision that you, with the picture from the eye, you classify. So there are many applications in animal science across the species.
Okay. So many questions. We're not going to get to them all, which is great. But there was one question from Mark, who's a UW-Madison grad. So he's checking in from a ways away. So thanks for joining us, Mark. But he's more on the food side, so red meat, yield. I can maybe give a little bit of feedback from my graduate school days. When I was in grad school, we used to send carcasses through the Tobeck machine. And Tobeck machine was the ability for us to get body composition, like that total percent of retail yield that we kind of could correlate back in the simplest terms to these youth here tonight, like percent muscle in their pigs, or like retail products out of their lamb carcasses, or yield grade if they were in beef carcasses. So how do you use cameras? I know we talked a little bit about that in swine, but can you talk about how you capture real, red meat yield of animals? We can do that on body condition scoring with, more on the female side, but, kind of red meat yield, like how much total red meat are we going to get out of an animal? Have you done work in that area, or have others done that?
Yeah, we are interested on this as well. We have one data set that we analyze, but not at this stage yet, where we have pictures of the growth of the animal, and then we have also pictures of the carcass, and we have the information in terms of quality, classification, and yield. So it is possible. And I think that's another great application. For example, also to predict gain, body weight gain, so compensatory gain. So with pictures at the start of a finishing period for beef cattle, for example, that's one. And Joao also is doing something more in terms of the state. Things that we should nowadays look for marbling, color. With visual inspection, you can do much better with computers as well.
Yes, exactly. I think that there are some publications, not a lot, but some publications with people trying to predict carcass weight with live animals, but very few in beef cattle. Guilherme just published a paper predicting muscle depth, back fat thickness of pigs and in swine. So very interesting paper. But people try to do this in beef cattle for sure. And what he mentioned about the post-harvesting analysis is related to how can you use a regular picture of a steak and predict marbling and maybe tenderness and features with a simple and easy to measure tool, right? And for industry that are more complicated or more complex type of cameras that we call hyperspectral imaging. So people try to use this for spoilage and contamination and external material that can go in the ground, meat and so on. So there are opportunities in the post-harvesting for sure as well.
Very good. I'll just finish, Mark, saying that anything you can do with your eyes, you probably can do with the computer, and much better with the computer vision.
All right, great. One other question was kind of along the line of, now I just lost it. I can't remember what it was. So one aspect was basically, what are the limitations of this technology right now? What do you wish it could do?
Joao can comment this on as well. But I mean, I would say there are many challenges. That's the thing. So of course, the storage of so many pictures and training the computer, sometimes quite often you need label. So if you want to teach the computer to recognize something, you need first to label some pictures for the computer to learn. So this is time consuming. You need to find different ways to do this. And then of course, computer power and storage is a challenge, and we always look for ways to simplify things. So if you don't need to collect images every second, and you can collect every 15 minutes and give the same result that you need, it's a good thing to do. So that's exactly what we do in terms of research. Develop the algorithms that are faster to run, give better prediction accuracy, and also that we don't need so much data, right? Joao, you wanna?
Yeah, no, just to add a comment or Guilherme saying, sometimes the internet connection of my house, it doesn't like me a lot. So I guess the internet connection, it's a challenge when you think about online systems, right? We can always have a computer vision system that implement and be running offline. But if you think about cloud computing and data being updated, and you're always having better models, so you're gonna need internet connection. And I think internet connection sometimes limits a little bit. Bernie actually asked me what I will shake. We have a better internet connection for sure. And another aspect that I mentioned is related to research, because it's a space that you have a lot of people, and especially a lot of startups, which is great, but we also need to remember that we need to understand what the algorithm is doing, what the accuracy is, what the precision is, and how much money you're gonna make by using those technologies. So those are all important aspects of this.
All right, and I think we'll kind of end with the questions. Just to wrap things up, and I guess maybe as I'm kind of rolling this out, do you want to bring up the video from the students? So we're going to show a video of you as you're leaving this evening, related to what okay, the cows are hungry. They're coming after me. So Dr. JD and Dr. Guilherme, what their students are doing with this work and what they're planning to do in their career. So obviously with each of these every evening, we try to provide you with some career options. And so if you like animal sciences, you like technology or engineering or computers, or maybe you really enjoy playing video games and you want to make a job out of it, I think these guys could help you out, and maybe it's an area that you might really want to look into as you're kind of navigating through your projects, as you're navigating through school, working with school counselors and teachers, and trying to figure out your next move in life past your parents and your family. So we're going to pull up a video, and so as you're leaving us tonight, we're going to leave you with that video. It's about 6 minutes, and you can watch it as you're leaving. Again, there'll be an email follow-up tonight later. I need to drive home, and then I will email it out. The survey link that we really would like you to fill out. And then again, there's a bunch of other links in there related to if you need to fill out a form for education purposes. That link will be in there again, as it was in the link that you got this evening. And we just really appreciate you all coming and joining us tonight. We really hope you learned a lot about how animals and technology work together and how that's playing out right here at UW-Madison. So check us out when you can come see us in person. We'd love to have you. Again, the last one is May 13th. And that's marketing your project. So I will send out more information. Make sure you're signed up and ready for that. And we'll have that ready for you May 13th, the last one, as we hopefully will venture out into summer and see all of us, hopefully, in the summertime here, enjoying what we can outside. So I'm going to see if Joao's ready, and we'll go ahead and share the screen. And again, thanks for joining us.
What about
And then share, and then turn on your audio there. That works. Just wait.
We're done with this.
Hi, my name is Gilbert and I'm a senior studying science and computer science. I graduated from Kimberly High School in 2017 and will be graduating from UW this spring. The project I'm currently working on is to develop a computer vision system to detect heat in cows. Cows have different behavior when they're at a point when they're ready to be bred. For this project, we're using cameras that take pictures of cows every 5 seconds and using that data to determine when cows' behavior will change, and from there we can alert farmers when to feed their cows. Courses that I would recommend taking if you're interested in this area would be to get exposure in science, technology, and math. Courses like AP Biology, AP Calculus, and computer science-related courses will be very beneficial in this area. There are a lot of different careers that you can go into after studying in this area. Personally, I will start as a software engineer this summer when I graduate, but there are a lot of jobs working within data analytics in this field, which will help you to work with farms to help them determine how to better use and understand their data. Lastly, the biggest piece of advice that I would have is to not be afraid to try something new. I didn't know where I wanted to go, but after trying different classes in dairy science and computer science, I found something I really loved, and without branching out and trying different areas, I would have never found the right career for me.
Hi, my name is Rafael Ferreira, and I'm a computer engineer in the second year of the PhD program in the Department of Animal and Dairy Sciences at UW-Madison. The main project I'm currently working on is to develop a computer program that can recommend how much feed each individual cow in a dairy farm needs to eat in order to remain healthy and productive. This is done by using images from cameras installed all throughout the farm and also using machine learning algorithms to understand each cow's behavior and physical traits, such as their body shape and body size, for example. If you're interested in working with artificial intelligence applied to animal sciences, I would recommend taking courses on biology, calculus, linear algebra, and also statistics. There are many career opportunities in this area because agriculture is becoming more and more technological. You could, for example, develop intelligent systems that automate operations in a farm, and that would be the software engineering path. Or you could also use data captured through the systems to predict future events and help farmers make better decisions, and that would be the data science path. A final piece of advice I would give you is to always be willing to learn and develop new sets of skills. This is very important because artificial intelligence in agriculture is a rather recent field of study, so it's in constant evolution and there's new knowledge developed all throughout the world all the time. So because of that, professionals should have the ability and most importantly have the interest to learn, seek and engage with new technologies all the time. So because of that, it can be very challenging, but also very rewarding to work in this area.
My name is Ariana Negredo. I'm a first-year PhD student in the Animal and Dairy Sciences Department at UW-Madison. And I'm currently working on a project that has multiple different components. It's looking at dairy nutrition, but also we're trying to relate feeding behavior and spectrum data in order to predict what kind of behavior the cows are exhibiting when they're eating, just based off of milk analysis that farms can submit. So coursework in high school that I recommend that you take if you're interested in animal sciences and computer technology is, of course, go hard on STEM. Take as many sciences classes as you're interested in, biology, chemistry, and computer technology. If there's a robotics course or anything involved with computers, and kind of see if it's something that you'd be interested in pursuing further. There's a lot of jobs available in this industry. Of course, you can always go into academia and be a professor, but also in industry, there's a lot of jobs as consultants for even all kinds of different types of animals. It could be swine, poultry, or goats, sheep, and my favorite are the dairy cows. So I can go into management consultant, also nutrition consulting is something I personally want to do. And computer technology definitely has a lot of areas of opportunities for this going forward. And advice for students interested in this area is just get experience, get hands-on. If you're interested in working with animals, volunteer, working at a farm or a shelter, get a job somewhere. And if you're interested in computer sciences, join different clubs. Robotics club was something I enjoyed a lot in high school. And just talk to people in the area and see what kind of opportunities are out there for you to start getting involved now so that you get the experience and you also know if this is truly something you want to do and pursue further. Best of luck.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shen. I was really happy when I received an email from Dr. Rosa asking me to record this video for you. Dr. Rosa was an amazing mentor and advisor for me when I was an undergrad at Madison. I would have never become the person that I am today without his support, guidance, and encouragement. Dr. Dorea is also a very caring, passionate, and intelligent professor that I'm sure you will all love. So now a little bit more about myself. I am originally from China. I got my bachelor's degree from Madison with a major in animal science and a minor in computer science. Now I am a master's student at University of British Columbia in Canada, conducting research in dairy cattle welfare with the use of technology. If I look back into my high school, I probably would have never imagined that I would become a researcher one day. However, I do think there are a lot of coursework that I did back in high school time that prepared me well for my adventure at universities. For example, if you really love animals and if you're interested in animal science, then make sure that you get a solid background in biology because that will be very helpful in the future. And for those of you who are already fascinated by the idea of agriculture, precision agriculture, and by the idea of using computer technology to help farmers, help animals, then please don't hesitate to take an intro level computer science class and do the right teacher. Because I think for the intro level computer science class, it does not really require a lot of math behind it. It is more about logical thinking and how to solve problems. And for me, for example, writing code is very much like playing video game. It's like if I wanted to get from place A to place B, I need to think of what are the steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and which are the roads that I'm going to take. If I encounter some monsters along the way, I have to figure out a way to fight with it and conquer it. So coding is a very interesting adventure for me. And I believe it is very applicable and can be easily learned by anybody, no matter of age, no matter of gender. I'm sure Dr. Rosa and Dr. Dorea have already told you a lot about precision agriculture. So this is a rising field with tons of great opportunities waiting for you in the future. For example, I am using the big data to analyze social characteristics and social hierarchy of dairy cows. And a colleague of mine is trying to create his own company, have a new startup company to use machine learning algorithm automatically assess the lameness of dairy cows. And you know what? That can be you one day. You can create your own technology, create your own company, and become your own boss. So one last advice from me, if I may, is that I wish you always keep an open mind. Because for me, I think growing up, I always thought that I will be a vet, and that is my one and only destiny. However, I think my entire career path changed after a trip to Costa Rica. So I flew to Costa Rica to volunteer in a wildlife rescue center in the summer of 2018, where I met so many new friends. And one of the friends that I made was a manager from Cisco, a technology company in California. He was very excited to talk to me about all those cool technologies that Cisco was doing, including how they use small satellite to track rhinos in Africa and prevent them from being poached. And that was the aha moment for me. That was the first time that I ever realized that you can use technology to protect animals, to help animals. So that motivated me to start learning coding and started taking entry-level class at UW-Madison. And I absolutely fall in love with it. So the take-home message here is that always be open to new opportunities and don't be afraid in jumping into a novel area. It is okay to have all those uncertainties in your life. It is okay to have all those zigzags on your path towards your dream. Because if you embrace it, it is possible that you will meet something very beautiful at the end of the road. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Rosa, for our invitation, and thank you, Dr. Dorea. I wish to see you again in Madison one day.